Let's do some Burp Security Academy. Now, if you don't have it set up, you got to do W600 first, where you make your Web Security Academy account, and then you'll launch Burp. In fact, let me just demonstrate the process to make sure you've all seen it. All right, so you'll launch Burp. I'm just going to close everything so I can do it from start. Okay, you launch Burp. You should probably just use it on your host machine. I wouldn't bother using a virtual machine because it's harmless and you want it to run efficiently. You can put it in a virtual machine, but it'll just make it slower and harder to use and window smaller. You always just choose next here. Whatever this project thing is, you only get it with the professional version. And then start Burp. And this is the community edition, the free edition I'm using. Okay, and now the first thing you always have to do is go to the proxy tab and turn off intercept, otherwise it's useless. It'll block all the traffic. And then you click Open Browser, and it will open the browser that's connected to Burp. And now you just want to log into PortSwigger here. I saved a shortcut for myself here at portswigger.net/websecurity/all-labs. That's where I want to be, and I've already logged in. But anyway, once you have an account, now you can see the labs and there's categories. And we're starting with path traversal because it's about the easiest one. So we'll start with this so you'll learn how it works. I did this one last time, so we'll move up to the next one. So you open this in a new tab, and the first thing you should always do is open the lab in a new tab because it takes a while for the lab to open. And I'm not having any luck opening it in a new tab. What's going on here? Let me refresh this page. And I click the button and nothing happens. Oh, here's the lab. Okay, there we are. Couldn't find the right window. There, this is it. So this will take about 30 seconds because it has to spin up a container just for me. So while it's doing that, you can read what we're trying to do here. There's a path traversal vulnerability in the display of product images, and the application blocks traversal sequences but treats the supplied file name as being relative to a default working directory. So we want to somehow navigate to the etc password file, which we're not supposed to be able to see. And I'm just going to look at the solution. The solution is change it to this because what it blocked is .. So normally you'd be in some lower directory and you do .. a few times to move up and then come down to etc password. And in fact, I'll demonstrate that. So when we go here, there it's ready. So now I'm going to go to my Burp and go to the history, and I always like to start by cleaning out the old stuff to make my life easier. Clear history, and they told me it was in the display of product images, so I want to just display an image. So I'll right-click, open image in new tab, and so there's a request that loaded an image, and I would see it here, but by default, Burp blocks image content. So you have to click this and tell it I do want to see the images. And so now I see the request that loaded the image, and the interesting thing is that the file name is here, and I could replace that with a path. Now you can't change anything on the history tab, because that's what it is, it's history, but what you can do is you can right-click it and send to repeater, and you can repeat things on the repeater tab. So if I close this extra tab, if I send that request, I'll get a response, which is, this is binary stuff is the image, but I can now modify the request. So if I try to go .. // password, which would be the relative path to get to this file, and send it, then it notices it's a bad request. It doesn't like .. and if you send it, it triggers some kind of defense. But they didn't think of the fact that you can just start with the absolute path with the /. Now it won't contain a forbidden string, and I get the answer. So they had an imperfect defense that just looked for .. but it didn't consider that I could just begin it with a /, and that amounts to the same thing. So that succeeds in that path traversal. And if we go on to path traversal, all right, should be, yeah, it's solved, okay. Now let's try this one. Traversal sequences, so that was when it was blocked with an absolute path by traversal sequences. We used an absolute path, and that got past it. Here, it's going to filter out .. So let me open up the lab. And I think I know what's going on here. I'll try it without reading the solution first, because I'm pretty sure I remember how this one works. Again, it's in the image. It has a path traversal vulnerability in the display of product images. So let's see if we can figure it out. Again, I'm going to go to the history and clear all the old history out because I just find it confuses me. Clear history. Now I send a request that will load an image. All right, and there it is. So I send this to the repeater. All right, and so if I try what I've tried before, like .. / .. etc password, again, it notices that's bad, so that's no good. Now I wonder if the absolute path will work. We did last time, and it doesn't work because it forces you to have a directory at the start of it that you can't change. So, but what you can, the thing is, it's filtering out .. .. So what you do is you give it .. .. / And now when it deletes a .. .. there'll be another one left over. So it's .. .. / .. .. / There. That should effectively traverse up. And so it does, because their defense was non-recursive. It found all .. .. and deleted them, but it didn't consider that it had to do that a second time because after that deletion there might be more. So that's another failed defense. All right, and let's try another one here. Get the lab open. All right, again, same kind of path traversal in the images. It blocks input containing path traversal sequences. It then performs a URL decode of the input before using it. So I think that tells me what I have to do. If I go here, again, let's clear the old stuff out, go to history, proxy, HTTP history, and clear the old stuff. And now I want to send a image load request. All right, and there it is, and send that to the repeater. All right, now I can try things. Now the stuff we did before should fail. So if I do .. .. / .. / etc password, that should fail. And it does. And if I double it, like I did before, that's also going to fail. And if I try to refer to the absolute path here, that's going to fail. But what I can do, they gave me a clue. They said it's going to URL decode the data. So I can take this parameter and URL encode it. And there are ways to do it. I think I can use this thing. Yeah, I can put .. .. / and encode as URL. There, that's what a .. / is, %2e, %2e, %2f. So I can put in that stuff, and the point is it might be in this format when it hits the filter, and then decode it and use it. So this might be a way to slip those forbidden characters past the filter. So I'll just put it here, 3 of them, and then etc password. Let's see if it falls for that. It still doesn't. So now I'm going to read the instructions. I think I'm close to the right solution, but I haven't quite got it. So let's take a look at what the instructions are. I was pretty close. Oh, okay, it looks like they're doubly decoding it, which is, this is a defect in earlier versions of IIS. It decoded it twice, so %25 turns into %, and then %2f. So I need to put that in instead of %25. So that would be .. .. There, %25, %2f is the doubly encoded version of /. And I could put it, I could turn the dots back into printable dots, but I'll just leave them at %2e, so that should work. And it does. And this is a known failure in an earlier version of IIS. So there's a few of them you can do, and you should be doing at least 2 of these every week from now on. You'll see that in the homework page. It tells you every week, do +2 WSA projects You see it every week, starting in a week or two. Just keep doing at least 2 of them. There were 10 points each. You can do a lot more of them. There's enough to get hundreds of points there. You can totally get enough points to get an A in the class by doing nothing but WSA projects. There's lots of them. And I only require 2 a week, so you can do a lot more, and you'll learn a lot more. So get in there and you'll have fun. All right, I'm going to stop this recording.